everyone, it's Sharana from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing Euphoria Season 1, Episode 503, Bonnie and Clyde, okay? So, I'm supposed to be packing right now, but I told my people that I was going to get my Euphoria review out, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just not going to go to sleep. I'm just going to be sitting up here just dying at work tomorrow morning, but it's okay, the things that I do for you guys, because I love you, okay? So, I'm sorry that I'm looking raggedy. Hair appointment not until tomorrow after work, so you're going to have to bear with me for these next couple of videos. So, we get into the episode, and this is centered around Maddie. So, we know that at the end of the last episode, we saw that Nate choked her, and she had the marks on her neck at the end of the episode when she was looking into the mirror. So we knew that there was going to be some fallout from this. So we quickly learned that Maddie has always been a confident young girl. She's always just had that it factor. She might not have been the prettiest. She might not have been the most talented, even though she looked very talented, her little pageant stuff. But she had that thing. She had that, I know what I am. I know I'm doing the damn thing, okay? And so that's what always made people gravitate towards her. And so we see that she was a pageant girl. She always did well. However, when her pageant coach was basically arrested on charges of child molestation, her mama was like, we're not doing that no more. You can't be no pageant girl because I ain't got time for none of this. But she says that she was never actually molested, which was good, but not good for all the other people. So, but her mom made her quit. And so essentially, her dad has always been a drunk. Her mom is an esthetician. And so we see how as she was at the shop with her mother, that she analyzed the women who basically did nothing. They just came and basically got their nails done, got their feet done because they were probably like soccer moms, had money. They didn't have to do nothing. So Maddie was like, you know what I want to be when I grow up? Somebody that ain't got to do nothing. And I was like, you know what, Maddie? I ain't mad at you because I don't be wanting to do nothing either. But then I wake up and I think about these bills that got to get paid and I got to take my ass to work. So, and we see that she lied to Nate about herself being a virgin. She says she's only, because then he was like, what about, did anyone finger you? She's like, only myself. But we learned that when she was 14 years old on vacation, she actually ended up losing her virginity to a 40-year-old man, which is super creepy. But I was just like, okay, girl, I mean, I guess. But yeah. So she basically, one of her favorite movies that she watched was Casino, and Sharon Stone, she was always mesmerized with her because she knows that men always want something that they can own or they can possess. And so she knows how to play into that. And I was like, my girl was such a dedicated girlfriend for Nate that she even studied porn. Okay, she studied porn to make sure that she had the moans together, to make sure that she had the body moves together, to make him feel like he was doing a dang on thing, that he would always enjoy sex with her. And so she had this down to a little science. I said, you know what, girl, I ain't mad at you. I'm here for all of this studying that you were doing. And so we go into the beginning of their relationship, how Nate was such a great guy. He would leave flowers in her locker every single day. He was very affectionate towards her, very loving towards her. And we even saw that he got her the coat from Casino that looked like the coat that Sharon Stone wore in Casino because that's what she always said that she liked. And so she knew that no matter what Nate ever did, she knew that she would always love him. And so that's kind of where we center around how she's dealing with this abuse. In her mind, even though she knows that it's wrong, well, I don't even know if she knows that it's wrong what he's doing, but she still loves him. Like she can't shake it. She can't stop. Like she always will have feelings for Nate. And so we see that even though when they was on a break, she always had made sure that she was getting hers, sleeping with other men. And I was like, Nate, were you stalking her? Because, later in the episode when he does a little confession talking about how he knows that she slept with other guys when they were on a break, I was just like, well, he was stalking old dude Tyler, then I'm pretty sure that he probably stalked Maddie whenever they were on a break because he's super creepy like that anyway. But yeah, my girls was getting it in. But you know what? Anything we learned from Friends, we were on our break, so she wasn't cheating. Boom. But we see that she goes to school, and so she's trying to hide these bruises. She tried putting makeup on her neck. The bruises were just too bad, and she decided, okay, I'm gonna put a turtleneck on with a hoodie so nobody can see these bruises. However, because she took the Molly at the carnival then during the weekend, so it basically lowered her serotonin levels. Then she was suffering from depression. She didn't eat or drink anything. She ended up actually passing out. She was very hot. She passes out. They have to call the paramedics to come, and then they realize that she has the bruises on her neck. And so this is a serious issue. The school has has to report it. And so we see that they end up calling the police to come to the school. But we gotta talk about Cal real quick, y'all, because my man's got a phone call when he was at work talking about you gotta come to the school. It's his wife on the phone. He was looking all shook, like what is going on? My man started sweating and stuff. So he come down to the school. He like, oh Lord, I'm finna go to jail because I've been sitting up here sleeping with underage girls. And so basically he thinks that the jig is up, and then basically he about to get exposed. So he gets to the school, he sees his wife, he like, what is this about? And she was like, let's just go inside, I don't know. And so basically before he can even make it to figure out that all of this crap is about Nate, this fool going to the bathroom, he throwing up. This man just looked like he's just like he knows that he's about to like lose his entire life. And so then he goes in and he sees that it's about Nate, and then he just looking like, woo, like my man didn't even care that his son was in trouble, that the police was here for his son. He just happy that this ish ain't about him right now. But I was like, you know what, Cal? I'm pretty sure before the end of this season, yours is going to come to you. So we go back to Maddie. And so essentially, she tells like the principal who's trying to talk to her, he asked her, was it Nate? And she was just like, it's none of your business. It doesn't matter. They call her parents to the school. Her mom was like, oh, hell no. She didn't say all of that, but I'm just saying, like, I said it for her because I'm sure. She was like, hell to the no. She was like, we pressing charges, okay? I don't care how you feel about him. He put my hands on my daughter. He going to jail, okay? So she said that she wants to press charges. So, Cal sitting up here trying to talk to the parents. He's like, let me go talk to the parents. And they were like, sir, don't you think that you need to go talk to your son while you sitting up here worried about talking to Maddie's parents? You need to go talk to your son and figure out what the hell did he actually do and what he didn't do. But in the meantime, the principal starts interviewing students by trying to figure out what is going on, who could be the person who like placed the bruises on her neck. And so then he starts interviewing people. And when my girls was like, I'm gonna need a lawyer, he was like, ma'am, you not under arrest. Like, we just asking you questions. Like, stop. You didn't watch too many episodes of Law and Order. And then when she was like, Nate is gay, I was like, how you find out? And so she talking about, he was like, no, I'm being serious. And she was like, sir, I'm being serious. Nate is gay. And so she tells him about, then they end up finding out about how he got into an altercation with Jules, how Jules cut herself. They brought Jules into the office. Jules like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, you damn right. I bleed the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. I don't know what you're talking about. No, thank you. And so then we see that this one dude was talking about what Maddie was smashing a dude in the pool at the party that we saw in the first episode. Why did principal didn't know what smash meant? He was like, I'm sorry, what is smash? And I was like, sir, you're a principal of a high school. You don't know what smash is? We've been saying smash since like grade school at this point. I don't understand why you didn't know what that was. I was a little disappointed in him. I just wanted to take his black card for him because I don't understand how you don't know what smash mean. But it's okay. I'll let you have it for this episode. Then we go into basically, okay, we gotta talk about Cassie real quick. So Cassie's sitting up there talking about like what is going on, and then Lexi was like, well, you know, he tried to kill her because she found out that he was gay and he had all that gay porn. And then Cassie's like, how you know? She was like, Beesh, you told me. And I was like, man, Molly is one hell of a drug. She don't even know if she was running her damn mouth. Did Maddie tell you not to say anything? And so I'm happy that Maddie checks her later in the episode when she was like, that wasn't true. You keep spreading lies. I will effing come for you. I was just like, Cassie, you just disappoint me at every single turn. So we see that Cal ends up going to talk to Nate. He asks Nate, you know, did you do this? He asked him a couple of times, like, did you do this? And he was just like, no. And he was like, good. And so he was just like, you know, I'm here for you. We're going to get through this. You're going to walk out first and I will be right behind you every single step of the way. And so we see as he's walking out, he like stops and he looks at Maddie and says, I love you. And then the police take him away. But as they walk in through the doors to get to outside so they can take him to the station, woo, Daddy Cal, and then Crazy Nate, they walk by, they see Rue and Jules sitting at the table. They both looking. They looking, but not trying not to look. But then we see Nate kind of look back to see like what his dad is doing as well. I was just like, oh, Cal, you can't catch now one break today. Jules looked uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable. Nate was still looking crazy. Cal was still looking shook. I was just like, y'all just nasty and messy. Like, you just messing with underage girls and you sitting up here bribing underage girls. It's just like, y'all both messy, raggedy, just don't like neither one of y'all. And it hurts that they treated McSteamy like this, portray him in this character, because I can't even look at him the same anymore. I'm just like, what happened? Like, why are you doing this? It's too much for me. So we see that they eventually end up taking Maddie to the station to get a statement. She was just like, the lady was like, you need to take off your sweater. And she was like, I will fight you. I was like, ma'am, how you gonna fight the police? You at the police station, what you think you finna do? I just don't understand. So she just says, hey, you can take the sweater off, or I'm gonna have to take it off for you. So Maddie thought she was about that life, and then they handcuffed her down, her legs and her arms. They cut the sweater off of her, and then you see like these bruises. They look even worse than what we saw at the end of last week's episode. And so as the detective is kind of taking pictures, you see how she had to take off all the makeup that Maddie tried to use to cover it up. You know, she basically tells her, like, if you think this is love, like this person loves you, like they don't. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more just to kind of about her, like her psyche and, you know, why she loves Nate, why she feels that Nate is still like the only one for her. But in the meantime, that's all we're going to say about that. So in the midst of all of this, we see that Nate is being questioned by the police. And so he basically tells them like, hey, we don't have a healthy relationship. My dad always says, dang, I can't talk, y'all. It's a sleep deprivation. My dad always says that, you know, she's a distraction, and he's right. And then he's sitting up here snitching, talking about, well, she was on drugs, she was doing Miley. Then he gonna talk about, well, I don't do drugs, so I'm not sure. Well, bitch, you talking about pure forms and stuff like that. Obviously, you might have done something, because I didn't even know he talked about pure form. I was like, I thought Miley was just Miley. Like, I didn't know there was all these different kinds or whatnot. But I thought that was like hella rude, him basically trying to throw Maddie under the bus to make it seem like she was under influence, like she could have made this up. He talked about how, like, I just grabbed her arm, I didn't choke her. And then he keeps talking about how he loved her and how she be smashing other people when they on a break. So I'm like, clearly this fool been following her. Like, I knew it. You crazy. You definitely been following her when y'all was on a break. And so we see that the school decides to suspend him until the investigation is over. He ends up getting kicked off of the football team. And I think it's very interesting how we see that the school is trying to take extra measures, showing the kids like a documentary about abuse. And I thought it said a lot when the woman basically says, and I want to make sure that I get this right, and she basically talks about how, like, you know, when you're going through this thing, one of the craziest things is that you think that this is normal, and that the behavior, like, this is like how they show love. And I thought it was really interesting that they chose to hone in on that. And so it's like, and then also saying like, this is not normal, this is not okay, like this is not love. And so we'll dive a little bit deeper, but I want to get through Rue and Jules real quick before I finish off with like Cal, Nate, and Maddie. So in the midst of all of this, Rue mom come up in her bed, because you know mamas, they just pop in, they don't knock. They don't be like, can I come in? Because they be like, this my house. I pay the bills. I put food on the table. I ain't got to knock on nan door. Better yet, don't even close my door. Don't lock my doors, okay? Because you didn't pay that nan bill to earn the right to do so. So she bust in on my girl Rue trying to get her little nut off. And so when she's like, you come to dinner? She's like, yeah. And then she's like, no, yeah. And I was like, girl, go ahead and get your nut. Do what you got to do. Tell mama I will be out there to get supper. Just give me a few minutes. And so we see that her mom is talking to her, and she asks about Jules, and she's telling her, like, you know, I really like her. I just want you to take things slow. You're delicate. And I think it's interesting how everyone's kind of telling her to tread lightly with this relationship, especially you just OD, you just got out of rehab, and, you know, kind of you're putting all your eggs in this basket, like fixated on Jules, and we just want to make sure that you're okay. And so, she's like, yeah, I'm going to take things slow. Then Jules and Rue sitting up here getting matching tattoos, like saying rules on like the lip. But my man Ashtray, when he was like, Jules was scared afterwards because she was like, I don't know. And then Ashtray was like, I've been doing this for years. How old is Ashtray? Because he looked like he's 7. He don't even look like he's 10 years old. You doing this for years. Sir, like sir, stop it. I can't deal with him. I need someone to confirm to me how old Ashtray really is. Have they said it before? Did I miss it? Just let me know in the comment section if you know what's going on. And so after Jules and what is her name? Child, I forgot already. After Jules and Rue see Cal and Nate walk out, she was like, girl, you need to be trying to get some money up out of them. And then she's like, girl, like, please, let's not talk about this. Like, you have to promise me that you will never say anything, like, even if we weren't friends. And she's like, why would we never be friends? But, like, I would never say anything like that. And so she kept pushing the issue. And so Jules gets upset and she kind of just walks away, like, I don't want to talk about it. And she kind of leaves the cafeteria where they were sitting. So later they're having this conversation. And then they're hanging out at her house, and then Rue asks her, like, how many one-night stands have you had? And then she, like, asks her all these questions, like, how many numbers, like, more than this, more than that. Jules was like, girl, why are you so concerned? Does it matter? Like, why are you trying to get my body count right now? And so then she asks her, like, how many has she had. And so then we go through a brief history of Rue's non-existent sex life. And so we find out she had her first kiss at 12. She was just trying to get it over with. She gave 4 hand jobs in 9th grade, 2 blow jobs like her sophomore year. But when my mans was like, I'm basically going to tell everybody that you gave me head, so why don't you just go ahead and do it? I was like, I mean, that's smart thinking, but that's not okay. Like, I don't like how you emotionally coerce her into giving you head. I just thought that was mad disrespectful. But when she had sex, when she was like high on drugs, and my man was laying next to her, and he was like, it looked like he was like, did you come? And she was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, it looked like you came hard. I said, sir, how does it look like you came hard? Is there a look to it? Like, did you know? I'm just really confused. I didn't understand. And then I was like, Rue, why you got on these damn clothes? Why do you have on this big ass hoodie? Like, he all naked. You got on a whole bunch of clothes. I know you hot. I know you sweaty. Like, what is going on with you right now? So that just tickled me. I just thought it was really funny. But one of the interesting things that is happening with Rue this episode is we can tell that Rue is highly codependent upon Jules. Like, everything, her whole entire world centers around Jules. Her sobriety centers around Jules, because we know, during the season, she was like, I have no intention on getting clean. But when Jules tells her that, like, hey, I'm not going to be friends with you, I don't want to hang out with you if you're going to die, that's when she makes a decision that she's not going to get clean for herself. She's going to get clean for Jules so she can keep the relationship because she's in love with her. And so Ali tries to have a really serious conversation with her, basically showing her how she's codependent upon her. And he's like, so what are you going to do when this doesn't work out? Because nothing in high school lasts. And I was like, it's really harsh. Some people, it's people like I went to high school with, they stayed together, they got married and had kids. Like, it could happen. But we know that Jules really isn't that interested in Rue. She doesn't really feel the same way. I think this whole of her kissing her, it was just a knee-jerk reaction to help her get over what happened with Nate. And so also too, we see that Jules is starting to realize that she doesn't like her like that, and she starts to feel guilty because so many different people are kind of telling her, Rue is doing so much better because of you. And so I like how Rue is honest in her NA meeting about how she was lying about being sober and even talking about Jules. But also, too, I just find it so crazy how she's telling Ali that, Jules wants to go to New York, so I'm just going to move with her. We're going to live together. And I'm just like, but Rue, what do you want to do? Everything that you're saying is like you're following what Jules wants to do. But I never understand, like, what do you want out of life? It can't just be Jules. Like, you have to have your own passions, have your own interests. And so we see this whole codependent relationship, and even Jules is starting to see this. Her dad asked her, so are you guys a thing? And she was just like, no. She starts to get uncomfortable with the questioning with her dad. And then also too, when Lexi tells her after she goes skating, because Rue reaches out to Lexi and says, I know I've been a horrible friend. I want to make it up to you. They all go skating together. And then she tells Jules, Lexi says, that Rue is doing better because of you. And so this visibly upsets her and makes her feel awkward as she walks away. And then we see afterwards when Rue is like, you want to spend the night? And then Jules is like, not tonight. I'm just going to go home. And she's like, well, can I come to your place? And I'm like, Rue, you are being so needy right now. I need you to stop it. And so we see that at the end of the episode, Jules just has this look on her face, like this look of realization that she knows that she can't continue to lead Rue on. She loves her as a friend, but she doesn't have the same feelings that Rue has for her. And so it's interesting to see how that's going to play out. And it's very sad because I know that it's going to lead to Rue relapsing again, because the only reason she's sober is because of Jules. So going back to, actually, we could talk about Kat. because I have issues with Kat. And I just have issues with how Maddie's friends treated her going through all of this. I don't know if anyone else picked up on how trash all of Maddie's friends are. But we see that Kat, basically, she's still mad at Ethan. So Ethan is trying to talk to her. He was just like, hey, like, you didn't answer any of my texts. And then she's like being very standoffish with him. And he asked her, like, why are you being so mean all of a sudden? And so we see that she's telling whatever her sugar daddy, whoever that little micro penis dude that she talked to over the internet. But she's basically telling him how when she had sex with Luke in the last episode, in the carnival episode, she was just like, I had an epiphany. And let me make sure I get this epiphany right. She says that all men are pathetic. And so she's kind of lost respect for men because men have disappointed her. So I don't know if she necessarily truly feels that men are pathetic, but I think she feels when she like puts herself out there, when she puts her emotions out there, she's always disappointed. So at this point, she resents men. She thinks they're pathetic. And so I don't know what's going on with Kat. But we see that she says there's nothing more powerful than a fat girl that doesn't give an F. And so I was just like, I thought that was very interesting because her confidence, I love her confidence. Like, I wish I had the confidence that she has because I feel as though because like I've gained weight, because I am like plus size now, that I lack confidence. And just to see even her changing like her appearance, but like being who she wants to be and just like having that like, I don't give a fuck. I know I'm a bad bitch. I just love that about her. And we see that she turns heads in the mall and stuff like that. And we see that she comes into contact with the guy from the clothing store, I think in the Made You Look episode 3. And so they basically start hanging out. He acts like, can we hang out afterwards? And so it's interesting because they're having a conversation and he's trying to get to know her. And then she's kind of just like, hey, you don't have to do that. And he was just like, she's like, we could just hook up. And he was like, no, I was like actually trying to get to know you. And I was like, Kat, don't do that. Don't sell yourself short. I really do think that he was like interested in her. He was vibing with her. He wanted to get to know more about her, but she just quickly made everything about sex. And so we should see that she gives him the blowjob in the car and stuff like that. But I thought because he nutted fast that like he really did like her. You know how people be anticipating they like people and they always end up nutting the first time that I hope my parents aren't watching this. Lord, please don't let my parents watch this. But you know how they like nut real fast because they've been like building this anticipation. They've been so excited and that, okay, let me just stop because I'm telling on myself. So, it's just a weird interaction with them. I don't know how I feel about Kat. Like, I admire her confidence, but I still feel as though she's so broken on the inside that I just don't know how to really interpret her. Like, I want to say that she's trying to be independent and take control of like her sex life, but I was like, girl, you don't do nothing on your stomach at the carnival. You didn't have no warm towel. You just run around with sticky sperm all on your stomach. I just had to get that out because it really bothered me when she was telling old dude about the epiphany that she was having. I was like, that's nasty. Like, you should have had him, it's all this grass around here and the only place you go on my stomach. Hell no, Luke. So that's enough about her. But we see that Cassie, who I just don't care about, but it's okay, we're going to talk about her. So Cassie, she kissed Daniel at the carnival. He pulls her, kisses her, and then she's like, hey, I have a boyfriend. We can't do this. And he was like, well, how about if I don't say anything? Like, can we hang out again? And she was like, yeah. But then her and McKay, because I keep calling him McCray, but his name is McKay, he ends up apologizing to her about what happened at the carnival and that he should have told Nate the truth. And she says that she's sorry. He was like, what do you have to be sorry about? I said, because, but she cheated on you. But she didn't say anything. She just got real quiet. But I have to talk about Maddie, Cal, and Nate, like, to end this episode, because I think I've been rambling way too long. So, Cal, sir. So you didn't learn your lesson from Jules? So you just back to smashing people in the hotel room? So he had Moniko, okay? Moniko came ready, okay? Moniko had a playlist. Moniko had props. He started grinding all up on Cal. Cal got all uncomfortable. I was like, this looks uncomfortable. And so he was like, can we just talk? And Moniko looking like, baby, like, I'm here to work. Let's get to partying. So she's sitting up here listening to him, and he talking about how he feels as though that, him living a separate life, that it's poisoned his family, it's poisoned his kids, and that he's worried that, like, this is going to affect him, which it has, but I don't think he truly understands how far it has affected Nate. And so Monaco First of all, she was like, honey, I don't do alcohol. And so she's sitting up here popping smoking some type of drug, and then yawning while he's sitting up here trying to like pour his heart out to her. And so then she was like, baby, let me just take that energy for you. Just shut up. I'm tired of hearing you talk. That's what she was like thinking. She didn't say that, but I could tell that she was tired of him. Like, chop, chop. I have other stuff to do today. So they do their thing. And so I get scared because, so we see that Maddie is really having a really hard time. She's having a breakdown. She sent Nate 273 text messages. I said, girl, 273 text messages? Stop it. Like, what are you doing? So Nate's not responding to her, and I'm sure his dad told him not to respond to her, or he could have blocked her. Who knows what's going on at this point? So Nate ends up calling McKay. He's with Cassie. He tells Cassie to tell her to download this app. And so she downloads the app, and then she like goes to meet him. But before all of this, she reaches out to Kat, and she's crying hysterically. You could tell that something's wrong with her. And Kat totally brushes her to the side. And then even when they were watching like the abuse tape in class, we see that Cassie looks at her, but I never see her friends try to console her or ask her, are you okay? What happened? Like, what do you need? I didn't see any of her friends like actually be there for her. And so I just feel like Maddie's friends are hella trash. Like, I don't understand why she doesn't have any type of support system. Cassie's sitting up here still trying to gossip and get more tea about what happened with the photos in Nate's phone instead of checking on her friend. And then Kat, like, I just felt like they were really trash. I don't know if you guys felt that way, or you noticed that like no one ever asked Maddie like how she was doing. The people that she actually hang out with tell everything. I just thought that was really bizarre in the first place. But we kind of get an insight as to why she feels that she has to cling on to this abusive relationship with Nate. And so we see that she gets into an argument with her mother. And she talks about how she still loves Nate. She wants to be with him. She would kill for him. She would die for him. And her mom was just like, I've said this about everyone. And she was like, do you think I want to be like you and dad? You guys live in the same house. Y'all don't talk to each other. He didn't sit on that couch for years. Like, all he does is drink. Like, I don't want your life. I don't want this to be my life. And so she feels as though even though Nate abuses her, that he still treats her better than she's ever seen her dad treat her mother. And so we can see how we're kind of repeating these unhealthy cycles, and how she hasn't had a perfect vision of what a real relationship looks like and what a healthy relationship looks like, which is why she doesn't feel as though that her relationship with Nate is unhealthy as hell. So we see that Nate tells her to meet at the same hotel that his dad would be smashing the other people. And I was like, so y'all didn't see each other's trucks? I was like, oh my God, Nate is finna see his dad, or his dad is finna see his son. I was just like, this is too much. But they totally miss each other. Nate even goes past Monaco, who tried to speak to him. And so we see that him and Maddie meet up and they console each other. So what I find so perfect about how these last couple of sequences play out towards the end of the episode is there's a song by Randy, what is this song called? It's Randy Newman, I believe, and it's called Same Girl. And so that's the song that's playing when all of this is happening. And so what I find interesting about this song is it's about, let me make sure I got this right. So the song is basically about two junkies that are in love. And so we see that Maddie and Nate are in this unhealthy, toxic relationship, but they literally hurt one another. That's how they show love to each other. Like, they're sweet to each other when they want to be sweet, but they're also very abusive verbally, physically towards one another. And so I think it's interesting that they're playing this song, you know, about two junkies in love. And we see Jules holding Rue, sleeping, having this realization that like she doesn't love her that way. But, you know, Rue is addicted to her. Jules is her drug, you know, and so this codependency that we're seeing between Jules, who's fighting with her own issues, or the whole thing that's happening with Nate. So she clings to Rue, who she knows loves her, but she knows she can't give that same type of love back to her. So they're both addicted to one another, but in different ways. And we see that Cal is addicted to living these two separate lives, as, you know, as a homosexual man, and then as this heterosexual man during the day, like he has with his family. So I thought that it was a very beautiful choice of music to play to like kind of show all of these different relationships. Even we could talk about how Kat is really just addicted to wanting to feel loved, because the only reason she treats men this way is because she's been disappointed about men at the same time. And then also too, Cassie seeking love, seeking appreciation, you know, from McKay, and then McKay trying to do that as well because they're both really unhappy. And so I just thought that it was a beautiful song to, I mean, not beautiful because about two, you know, junkies in love, but I thought it was a very perfect choice to kind of end this episode with. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot that happened in this episode. I mean, overall, I enjoyed the episode. Now I know that Maddie is Hispanic. I'm sorry, y'all, but her voice was bothering me. But now it makes sense that she really does talk like that in real life, because I just thought she was like putting something a little bit extra on for the show, but she does talk like that. So I apologize, Maddie, whatever your real name is. I'm sorry, but now that I know. But yeah, overall, I thought that it was a very great episode. I thought they did a very great exploration into unhealthy boundaries, unhealthy relationships, toxic relationships, abusive relationships, codependency. I thought that they did a very great job of touching in on those themes. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Euphoria Season 1, Episode 5, 03, Bonnie and Clyde. As always, my name is Sharona from Pay Your Weights, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.